So, I was after WRTC Boston, where I did, if anybody remembers, I was in the headquarters hotel and I helped with networking and the phone system and did a bunch of remotes at WRTC Boston, and it was a total blast.
Lights down?
Yeah, well, can we have the lights down? And it was a total blast in Boston, so I said, I got to do this in Germany. So I didn't have the time to qualify or try to qualify, so I decided to apply as a referee, and I was actually the first application. I got it right in as soon as it was available. So luckily it came back, and I was a ref at WRTC, and as a referee or a participant, it was the first time for me. So it was very exciting. The Germans were fantastic. The transportation problems were immense, but it had nothing to do with the organization. So I flew from Boston to EWR to Berlin, got there at 10:30 in the morning, or excuse me, 7:30 in the morning. Was met right away, very easy. We were going to wait for our transportation, which was a van, and a bunch of the guys were coming in. So we left the Berlin airport, I think it was sometime around 3 o'clock. Why? Because there was probably the biggest log jam and traffic jam that I've ever seen in my life. I would guess it was somewhere around 25 or 30 miles long coming into Berlin. The van that was coming to pick us up left Wittenberg at 4 o'clock in the morning. And so when we were finally driving by, for miles and miles and miles and miles, there were lorry trucks, tractor trailers, all the drivers standing out on the road smoking, all these people, and you'd see 30 tractor trailers in a row, and then you'd see a tiny little car there, and it was just the craziest pileup I've ever seen in my life. Backup I've ever seen in my life. So I have a few slides, and then I have some audio. I have a recording from the station I was refereeing of WRTC, so you can hear some CW from you guys. So this first slide here, this is a slide by Nodir, EY8MM. He took a lot of pictures, and this is one of the. He has a book of his pictures actually, and this is the cover shot that he did, and this is I think this is not our station, but this is one of the stations at night, and you can see the Milky Way there, and it's kind of amateur radio is universal around the world, but boy, we're a small speck in the universe, but it's a very, very cool picture. All right, let's see if we can go to the next one. So I'll go the other way. Yeah. So I wanted to prove that I was at WRTC, so I have the signed shirt. That's me. That's my call sign there in the little circle. So I was there. So this is not going in the order I thought. So I was the ref for Y82 Mike, which was F4DXW and F8CMF. And these guys finished before log checking 50th, and after log checking somewhere quite a bit down from that. So they were, with one of the guys was a CW op, and the other guy was a phone op, and he did not know CW very well. So everybody thinks that WRTC is usually the team captain who gets to pick the other operator, and that may not necessarily be somebody who's really good at what they do. It could be a good friend. And so the variability of operators, it kind of varied a lot. But they were great guys, and we had a great time. It's very hard to stay up for 24 hours without actually operating yourself.
You're the only one smiling in the picture.
Okay, so there were a lot of refs in WRTC. So this is a picture of the stage when all the refs came on stage. I got to meet a lot of people that I'd known for many, many years, of course, on the radio and never met in person, so that was really cool. One of them on one of the teams was a guy that I used to work when I was 17, and I've never met him in person, so that was quite cool. This is Ollie F4AKK, who was one of the competitors from France. And I actually brought my remote to Wittenberg. So this is Ollie, who I've worked many, many times from the Arctic, from WY1AAA. This is him running Europe from WY1AAA. So he had a lot of fun. And I brought my remote so that some of the guys could operate K2LE, guys who were not in a part of WRTC could operate the remote during the contest. So this is at the headquarters hotel, and it was set up, and they did operate for the contest as K2LE. Okay, and here's the team. They were quite nice to me because I didn't know if I was going to be able to, lean over their shoulders or look at a computer. I had my laptop with them, so they were using WinTest. So they said, yes, I could put WinTest on my computer as long as I pay for a license. So we got WinTest set up. I was right in the center between them. They were using Elecraft K3 on one side and a TS850, I believe, on the other side. And they had outboard SDRs. And we had no equipment set up other than two issues. One of them was that our rotor only turned in one direction quite quickly. The other direction, it barely turned at all. So we called up the support team, and they said, we'll be right out. And they came out and they swapped the rotor and they swapped the controller. They did everything very quickly, and that problem was solved. The other thing, we were tuning the bands, and on 10 meters from about 27.7 to 28.3, it sounded like a paging transmitter, and it was 40 over 9. So that kind of wiped out the low end of 10, but since 10 meters, they didn't do that much, and it seemed to go away during the contest. It wasn't really a big problem. The really interesting thing was the scoring computer. So the scoring computer was this beautifully machined box, had the computer in the cellular interface, and it had 3 LEDs on the front panel. And we fired it all up, according to the instructions. All the lights came on except for one. There was one LED on the bottom that said monitor. And it seemed like everything was working, but this LED wouldn't come on. So get on the Nokia cell phone, and I call DL6RAI, who had done all this, and he's the guy who answered the phone. And as soon as I said, he said, it's the modem light. It doesn't turn on. I must have been the 30th caller that had called in about that. So they designed this box that had a LED that never came on. So anyway, and then we had no problems with our computer at all. And I don't have many slides here. I think that's it. So I only did 5 slides. But what I do have for you, like I said, is I have a piece of audio. And these are a bunch of YCCCers that worked us, and there were a lot of YCCCers. Unfortunately, I only have the audio from the CW station. So if you worked us on sideband, let me see if I can get to the audio here. And we only have audio on the computer, so I have to hold the microphone up. All right, here we go. Oh, well, that's all I've got. I didn't realize that I edited the file in my room, and I didn't have a speaker to listen to it, so it obviously didn't take the whole clip. But anyway, if anybody, if you worked us, send me an email, and I'll dig out the audio, because I do have all the audio of the contest, and I can provide it for you. Anyway, that's it. Thanks.